Hello and welcome. So I don't have a video prepared for today, so I decided to do a live stream instead. And the live stream, I do have a topic that I want to do in it, but if you guys have any questions, I can try answering those if I can. So the last video I did on procedural generation, and one of the questions that I got on that video was about, very nice, thank you. I thought I would never be able to do this in Bolt, but now a second question, how to randomize height to make natural looking mountains that match the Perlin noise in steep or smooth hills. And I decided that's a good live stream topic right there, and try to tackle that on the live stream. So this is where I left off on that the last tutorial, and I was shown how to use the Perlin noise right here, this node or unit, how Bolt refers to them. And I only used it to modify the texture or the prefab. So to use it for height, there isn't that much difference to it. Well, I guess you can say that there is some difference. But first, I do use planes for my prefabs, and if I started adjusting the heights for it, then I'll have like just planes that are offsetted all over the place. So to use the to use the height, I would actually convert it to a cube. Now that will increase the amount of triangles or vertices that our prefab's going to have. So we're going to see some performance hit with that. So let's change it to a cube. And yeah, since I had the plane is 10 times bigger than the cube, I'll just scale it up so it will match to what we had before. And I'll do the same for the other one. So let's find a cube. Scale it up. And by the way, I can turn off the mesh collider. Not really using it right now. And the last one is a gravel. Okay, so now if I click play, I think it's going to take a little bit longer this time to generate that. Okay, there we go. And nothing has changed, but if I take a look on the side, then we'll see that they're actually cubes. So right there, we have cubes now instead of planes. And now all we have to do is just move them around. Or the option that I'm going to take, because if you move around, you still have, if the height is going to change more than by 1 unit, we'll have those gaps appear. But another option would be actually to scale them instead. And the place where I would do it is after right here. So this is all the calculation that I have for the selecting the right prefab. But after I select the prefab, I can also change the position of it. That's one option, is offsetting the Y, but I already said that there's going to be gaps if we're going to scale, move it up. So the other option is scaling it up, and that's what I'm going to do. It's going to mess up the texture on the sides, but that's for a demo purposes, that's going to be fine. So first, so I wouldn't have to recalculate the Perlin noise twice. What I'm going to do is actually use a cache. Well, I think I don't have to use a cache here. Yeah. So to cache that Perlin noise calculation, what I'm going to do is actually calculate it right here, right before I do the instantiate. And by connecting the flow through here, it's actually going to calculate the value and have the value ready here whenever I need it. That way, if I use it multiple times, it's not going to recalculate twice. So connect it back here. And now for the scale. So let's do this right here. Set scale. Now, what am I using? Okay, I have programming naming. So transform that scale. So local scale set. Let's use a vector 3. And I'll have to, I think I'll have to set it to 1010 for the other ones. And for this one, I want to use the Perlin noise to control what's the scale of it. So let's connect a multiply node. I'll use a scalar. Okay. 10. I don't think it's going to be noticeable that much. Let's try 50. 50 scale. And I think we are ready to see what's going to happen now. So if I click play now, okay, seems like our scale is not changing. It is. I think I missed something, and it's, yeah, I did not connect the original. Well, actually, I'm not changing the object that I just created. That was the missing part, probably. Let's try it again. Okay, now we have some height changes right there. So let's check it out, and there we go. Since I'm using the scale and I'm not actually moving around, that the effect is actually, it's actually from the both sides, so it's like mirroring. And there's some height right there, some height changes. It still is like blocky. It doesn't move by a specific unit, but that's how it's looking right now. Now, yeah, like it seems like 50 does not give me, I mean, for a hilly terrain, that looks pretty good, but if you want to create mountains, that does not really give me that much of height variance. So let me go and modify it to more like, what should we do? Twice. Let's do 200. 200. Let's see if that's going to give me a better result. And then I want to modify, because it's still going to look like more like hills than mountains or mountain peaks and stuff like that. And to change that, what's going on? Oh, okay. So yeah, it's still, I mean, it's pretty hilly. If you want to modify how smooth it goes up and all that stuff, you have to start changing the values, well, multiplying and changing the effect of the output. So for that, for instance, I think if we want to have sharper inclines, not so smooth, what I can do is, let me see, I think I have a power option here. So math power, and connect that value. And we'll do a power of 2. So it's going to be, the smaller the number, the smoother it is at the bottom. So we'll have more like plane. And then once it gets higher numbers, it should increase faster. I think that's the effect that's going to, the squaring that's going to get me. Hello everyone who joined the Are you making Minecraft? I'm not making it in here, although I do. The Minecraft, I mean, the project is called Minecraft Vault, and it's just a project that I have for testing. I use it just to test. It has the project itself is a mess. It has everything you probably can think of, but it's a project that I use to like come back to test something out, because I have lots of prefabs. And so I don't know if you guys noticed the difference, but you can see that it's much steeper now. The mountains, I mean, that mountain right there, that looks actually like a mountain now, you know. And you can increase the power. If you increase the power, the more sharper of a turn you're going to get. Since the what did I do? Since the output from the Perlin noise is, well, it sometimes go above 1, but it's mostly 1. We can still have control of how high it's going to go. It's not going to go above that much. So for instance, let's increase the power to like 4. So, and see how sharp of an effect that I have here. Village number. And there we go. That mountain is just keeps growing. And now we have, see, like those plains are just really flat. So more of a terrain now that's more believable. It looks like that is in the negative scale. Well, actually it's not a negative scale, but it's real close to 1, so it looks like it's reflecting. But here we go. That's just how you could create those heights from Perlin noise. Now now you can also add more detail on top of it. So like right now, I'm just using one Perlin noise to create that terrain. Well, first, before I'll do that, let me actually show you guys that wait, where is it? Oh, the main right here. So this is the the Minecraft part of it. I was just using it for testing. It will take some time to build. Because I used cubes just like I did for the demonstration just right now. I just used cubes, and yeah, there's lots of more cubes here because I actually used multiple cubes where it needs to be. So here is the test project. So that actually uses 3D Perlin noise, which just uses I think two 2D Perlin noises or 3 2D Perlin noise to create the 3D. Basically, this is as far as I got for testing. So I was testing the first person control here, and yeah, actually generation, terrain generation as well. But I haven't done the placement and well, actually building the blocks. And before I probably would do that, I'd need to convert it from using cubes to actually create meshes. But just haven't got around to do that. But yeah, that's just a test project. Actually has some caves here, if I could find some, but I don't know where they are at. But let's go back to my, where's the scene? There we go. So I have, how long was I streaming for? It's 18 minutes. Probably gonna go for 12 more minutes. If you guys have any questions, anybody noticed some minutes ago subscriber was yeah, this YouTube subscription, it only shows like once, I mean at just 3 digits. So because I had only, I think it was at 19 before I started, 3 to 19 before I started the stream. So there's just one more subscriber that joined. Thanks for subscribing, guys, by the way. And if you have any topic suggestions, be sure to let me know, because it's always nice to know what you guys are interested in. So I use one Perlin noise here, and this is how it turns out. So, and usually there's more than one Perlin noise that is being used, because you have a main terrain that you use, and then you can also have a secondary terrain, well, secondary details, and you can actually change it based on for instance, like right here, I could have changed the plane wherever I have earth to be more of a bumpy. So if it's earth, I could have choose a bumpy. But for that, you would use another Perlin noise with higher detail to get rid of that. Actually, low detail is it? So let's actually add another Perlin noise on top of it and see what result we're gonna get. Duplicate that Perlin noise. So one thing that you would change is, instead of, you kind of have to add them together. So, or depends what you're looking for, adding together or subtracting them if you're trying to get that effect. So I'll add them together and use that value from it. Now, to get a different, if I'll just use the same coordinates for the second Perlin noise, then I'm actually going to get exactly the same value out. So it's just going to be double what I'm getting, which reminds me that I need to actually also divide it by 2, because the maximum value we can get is actually 2 now. So divide scalar 2, that's gonna save us from having too much of, what is it gonna be? Yeah, otherwise if we don't divide by 2, it's gonna be like gold gravel. So like I said, that if we just use the same coordinates, it's gonna actually just get us the same value. And with Perlin noise, so you can change the noise that you're getting by shifting by a different value. And in fact, I want this one to have more details. So let's duplicate all of this. That one there, this one here, and I'll choose different values. So let's shift it by 20,000, and if I increase the details, I think it's it's not gonna be noticeable that much. So let's actually try decreasing the details. Okay, well, let's try this first, and then we can switch around. Yeah, thanks Remy for subscribing. What games are you guys interested in 2D or 3D games? Because it's always like, so there we go. So you can see that it's like much more noisier, and it's because I have 2 very interesting, like it's no longer mountains, it looks like it's just rocks or something like that. But that's basically right there. You can mix different terrains together to well, mix different Perlin noise together to get effect that you're looking for. And let me actually try, instead of decreasing the details, increase it. So 0.5 Now let's do 0.4. 0.04. So someone's asking, what is terrain? Terrain is just land, just shape, I guess. So yeah, when I increase that, you can see that it's smoothed everything out, and because it actually increased, looks like we are at some smooth hills, so it changes, the effect is changed really. So probably a hill right here, so we have high elevation right here, and then we have lower elevation right there, and that's where you can see those that earth. Probably should have used water instead of earth, or yeah, I mean, I think I can just add a plane. Yeah, let's try that. Let's add a plane. Position it in 0, 0. And at y of point, well, actually, let's do 1. I think that might be too high, but let's scale it up to 100. I think 1000 is gonna be better. There we go. And let's add a water. Water. I don't know if this can transparency, because it's going to be visible. Probably not. That's okay. Change it to water. Click play. Probably be too high. Can I use both to create online FPS? So to create multiplayer, there's a lot that it goes into. There we go. Now we have water. And so now our terrain has some water. To create online FPS or multiplayer with Bolt, so there is kind of mainly two options that you have, and it's between either you have a server side, so a server authorized server. What is it? Server authenticated, I think that's what it's called. Input, meaning that the server is actually checking, make sure that the calculations are not like not fake, meaning someone's not cheating and modifying some parameters in the game to get like faster speed or bullets that are like a size of a basketball or something like that. So for protecting from cheating, and you would use that. And one of the popular frameworks or library that exists for Unity is Mirror, but that one requires you to extend their network instead of, what is it, network. So Unity uses mono behavior, but if you use Mirror, you need to use network behavior. So you have to extend that. And Bolt does not have support for extending that. So you can't use Mirror, and that's basically what you would use for most multiplayer. And the other option is actually client-side authenticated, and that the popular API is the Photon. So that one is more likely you can use, but it's client-side, and the other you still have to create some C# script to handle the events. You can, and I think there is a tutorial out there about it. I didn't go through it, but if you look for, I think, Unity Bolt, Photon has Unity Bolt multiplayer. Photon, let's try this. Photon has right there. So this is the tutorial that I'm talking about. Point Bolt. Photon has their own Bolt, Photon Bolt or something like that. So it might get you confused or somehow. But so if you're interested, check out this tutorial. There is, like I said, there is this right here, this class that you have to create, which is just converting the Unity some of the events on connected to master, some events that are used by Photon to actually be triggering a custom event in Bolt. So this probably, if you really want to create multiplayer, probably a Photon is the one that you have to go with. I haven't tried it myself.